Good morning, Ed. Good morning, Nana. Good morning, Dingo. Quay. How you guys doing? You guys alive yet? You guys awake yet? I didn't do any. Well, at least I don't remember doing any videos. I probably did. And as for some of my videos concerning about my dog over at the vet clinic, just to show people what I was doing. Meanwhile, the market world is pilfering, pillaging, and plundering through Elon Musk, and he wants more and more. If we can't get enough from the taxpayers, he's going to be going through the market shares. So his initial public offering, and somehow never was good at understanding the markets, how they can pilfer, pillage, and plunder your 401k, making sure that you're going to be buying up worthless junk bonds one way or another. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme he's got going on. It probably is. I don't have a 401k. I used to have one a long time ago, but I drained it dry. Had to when you have bills and stuff to pay. But if I had one, unfortunately, one of those little counts I would have been inheriting would be the junk bonds and the garbage that SpaceX has been crashing and burning with. That's why the initial public offering, I think, in order to get more out of people. That wasn't bad enough. Speaker Johnson, you gotta love this asshole, pardon my language, guys, is pilfering, pillaging, and plundering Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. Apparently the automatics need to be shifted as defense, but not as helping out the people who are needing the retirement. No, you need to work your ass off. And if you're disabled, you still need to work your ass off. Why? Because welcome to slavery 101, guys. Of course, slavery is when you find people and hijack them, capture them, throw them on ships or somewhere else, and force them to work. Still, the Republicans are doing that. Can I ask you something, Ed? Can I ask you something, Anaya? Did you guys study American history? And a little bit of world history about slavery. I know it says all in the Bible. Usually when you have these kingdoms, they would force people into slavery. If I'm not mistaken, when it was building up England, William the Conqueror, making up his lands, in order to satisfy his kingdom, fortify his way of life, you had to have manpower. What did you offer manpower? Point a steel in your throat, work with me, or else I'll kill you. Or else I may protect your ass from the other guy's going to be putting a sword in your gullet. Work with me, or I'll kill you. One way or another. I'm a good king. I'm a good leader. I'm a good quote-unquote fill in the blank. And you know what they said about this point? I'm going to give you a sword. You're going to protect me, or else I'm going to use my sword to run into your gullet. Fear has a way of pushing people down that throat. Comes in all shapes and sizes and all kingdoms and fiefdoms and places. Now either you're part or you're against. If you don't like that one, well, dog will throw at you. But if I was a mean, or if I was just selfish and self-centered and egotistical, I might just get a sword and gullet someone. Anyway, continuing on, the American version of it. Yes, we did have slaves. We did make the Native Americans a little bit of a slaves, but they didn't like it. No way in hell we could do that. No. Why do we get? What do we get? Well, we get worse. We get somebody else's countries of people and use them as slaves. And we do pay them chins, just chinsy stuff. Coming to America, you're going to be a slave for a little bit. Because the haves will need your attention. Problem is, your attention is going to be out in the fields. You got a whip. You got a whip. Of course, if we get them subdued enough on ships going across the waters from one country to another, or actually one landmass to another, you have no choice but to be beaten, browbeaten, and submission to do what we say you're going to do. Otherwise, I got a whip for you. I don't need a gullet. I don't need a sword in your gullet. No, I need to whip your ass. Who likes a cat of nine tails on your ass? Or on your back all the damn time? A leather strap will do that to you. But if you're a kindly person, maybe you treat them with respect. Maybe. But if you're not, you just need the manpower. They're just things, aren't they? What were they called? The political parties that they were forming when the colonies were forming up? Or even before it? Oh yeah, landowners. We call them Dixiecrats. When the political parties come up, they're Democrats. Democrats, the originals, were slave owners. In the North territories of the colonies, and building up as they were trying to free the blacks, trying to make them individual. They're trying to make them feel important. They're trying to make them feel like human beings, that they can do stuff. We're going into industrial revolution time. We need to build. In order to do that, we need manpower. But we pay you. Work sucks. Safety hazards complicated, but no, we pay you. Pay you a living. At least give you some kind of decency anyway. Have some books, feed your mind. And South, you're a commodity. You're Dixiecrats. The Republicans were the ones that wanted to build up the republic. Industrialize everybody. Brainwash everybody. We weren't the kindest of countries forming, but we wanted freedom, right? Down below, they wanted freedom to just say, leave me alone, guys. Let me do the things I want to do without rules, regulations, or anything else like that. Leave me alone. I'm not progressing. I'm stating, and I need more slaves. North, they want more territory to build the country, to keep building, because we had more people coming in overseas. We started getting stuff out to the West Coast after we explored and had cities built or developing. Who do we get? We had Chinese. We had Chinese. On the East Coast, we can get Irish. We had the rum trade going on. Slaves were sugar and rum. Tobacco, actually, in there somewhere. Bit of a triangle thing going on in the South. But on the West Coast, it was Chinese labor. Pay you very little, but you build up your great communities, build up your cities, but you don't get to be second-class citizens, you're third-class citizens. Almost non-existent, but you're still part of America. Hey, shit. The darker things that Trump never likes to talk about. The darker natures of man. Reverend Ed of Halifax, Nova Scotia, of St. Episcopals. You walked across the landscape of the South. Maybe you absorbed some knowledge of what was happening in the States. It would get you a better understanding of what we're dealing with, what's being forgotten, what's not being talked about. The darker natures of man and building up a country. You think we were immune? You think we were unique, dude? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Not happening that way. Trump got in office the second time. He's gotten out the Smithsonian and every other damn museum he finds that was wokeism and DEI. And taking away the black heritage and histories concerning about Mexicans, not to mention Chinese. Now we just need white pure America with the Christian bullshit. You heard me correctly saying it. It's the Christian mindset in there. We have to be following Christ because we are Christians. And we hold a whip in our hands. It's Christian to whip people into shape. Our darker natures back then, centuries ago. But to be buried alive like the Mormon is, blacks didn't contribute. They were just non-existent. They were just commodities. It's even worse. We didn't have safety and rules and regulations. We were slowly developing them in the Congress, developing them and passing them down to the states. We needed people and protection, but we also needed industrial revolutions. And it took people long enough with a lot of work to get the rules and regulations we were going through and building up upon in the 1900s. I lay back down in the mornings, or sometimes at night, and I was watching some of this stuff. Not the history of the past, but how our today is being affected by the effects from the past that we're using an eraser mate and erasing everything else off. And indelible ink. Chemically treated that if it's still wet enough, you can take an eraser and erase the shit off. But once it's permanent, you can't take it off. That black stain is on our hearts of every American citizen, anybody who swears an oath to the United States of America gets naturalized. Anybody who goes through the classes, K through 12, swears the oath. I pledge allegiance. You're pledging allegiance to a country that's got more dark natures than it does light, but we try to show the light more than the dark natures. And we're showing it more and more with that greed, insistence, and excessive want. We show them a figurehead. Worship the figurehead, but is it legitimate? Is it real? I feel discouraged, Reverend Ed. I feel discouraged in my country and in my history, but I know in the history I will not be able to redo it because it is history. It is done. It is recorded. It may be revised if somebody else has other proof that different things happen, and there's debate about it, verifications, and if they actually verify the thing, they'll put it into books. They'll put it into new books. More books and more books and more books. To increase the knowledge base of what the hell we're doing in our country and in our history and our world's future. I never thought that history would have been the most important thing in a person's life, except when he gets old enough and he starts forgetting a few things, but then realizing there's other things maybe it should have been forgotten or should not have been forgotten. And then see the cruelty of stupidity by, even though you know the history, you don't care about history because you're going to be subjugated to someone else's whim. Taken away everything you have. And Reverend Ed, if you had worked, if you had been a United States citizen, and you had put in your Social Security every time you earned a paycheck, from the lowliest time you got an official, I mean, I'm not talking about just money under the table. Oh, no, Ed. Oh, no, Ed. What I'm talking about is something. Okay, come on now. Let's talk more about this one, shall we?